On this edition, I'm going to break down and predict the upcoming fight, UFC 152, between Junior Dos Santos and Cain Velasquez. Now, this is obviously a rematch coming off of the first UFC on Fox card. A fight that we were not expecting to end that quickly, but we get to see the rematch now. Obviously, both fighters are coming off of wins. Junior Dos Santos defending his belt the first time against Frank Mir at UFC 146, and obviously Cain Velasquez's first fight after losing to Junior Dos Santos, defeating Bigfoot Silva in impressive fashion, absolutely dominating the guy. So both guys are coming off of wins. Cain Velasquez obviously being the next top contender. There's really no other choice to be the top contender in the heavyweight division. So this is going to be an outstanding fight. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to break down both fighters. I'm going to do my predictions. So I'll start with Junior Dos Santos, the heavyweight champion in the UFC. Now, Junior Dos Santos has been absolutely unstoppable in the heavyweight division in the UFC. He's had an answer for absolutely every single fighter he has faced, and it's been by the way of his hands. The guy is an absolute monster. His boxing is outstanding. His stand-up. It has to do with all his attributes he brings to the table. He is an undersized heavyweight. He's not a small guy, but he's not a big guy. However, his speed and his athleticism, his explosiveness, his footwork, all of these contribute to his fine technique in boxing, at least applied in MMA. So Junior Dos Santos is just the way he moves in the octagon. He's very confident in his hands. But I mean, the guy stated it countless times how confident he is in his hands. And he moves around in the pocket. He keeps a perfect distance. He has a 77-inch reach. It's a wash in this fight. Cain Velasquez has 77 inches as well. However, Cain is very fast as well, but Junior has incredible pop. He has a very good first step into the pocket, and he hits with bad intentions. And I keep saying this is that it's all three factors. It's Junior's footwork, it's his hand speed, and it's his power. All of them complement each other very well, and Junior picks his spots very well. His gapping, he has a good uppercut. He has a very good jab that can work both the face and the body, and he can also throw that deadly right, that overhand right. He mixes the strikes up very well, and he knows how to work the striking game. He's a very smart stand-up fighter. He never commits to something unless he's going to hit, and he's very accurate as well. And that's the thing. Junior's boxing is some of the best in the heavyweight division, if not all of MMA, and he has the gifts and the tools necessary to make him successful. In regards to his ground game, Junior Dos Santos' takedown defense, everybody says, we haven't seen Junior Dos Santos' ground game. He is a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He does train under the Nogueiras. But, his takedown defense, he is so fast and explosive that it also helps him in the stand-up department. We've seen countless times guys try and take him down. We've seen Roy Nelson. We've seen, Cain Velasquez never tried. That would be interesting to see what would happen in that case. We've seen Frank Mir try. We've seen plenty of fighters try, and nobody's been successful. Junior takes his time, or he's just so quick and slippery and elusive that you cannot get a hold of the guy. So you can't really say how he is off his back. They tell us that he is a skilled Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, brown belt, but we haven't really seen much of it. So it's just because his takedown defense is so good. But I think if he is to be on his back in this fight against a wrestler like Cain Velasquez, I think that's the biggest factor, is how his takedown defense will match against Cain Velasquez's takedown ability. So pros and cons for Junior Dos Santos. Pros is definitely his striking. He is the better striker in this fight. I want to say he has a little bit more explosiveness than Cain Velasquez. I'm not saying he's faster, but I think he has a little bit more explosiveness in his step. And that's saying something, especially against a fighter like Cain. I also want to say that he does have the submission advantage. Cain may be training in guerrilla jiu-jitsu, but I'd say that Junior Dos Santos has the submission advantage in this fight. And lastly, I just want to say is that he has so much confidence, and he has Cain Velasquez's number. He knows how to beat Cain Velasquez. He's done it before, and he could very well do it again. So his confidence, and he does have Cain's number. Cons for Junior Dos Santos, I'd say it's definitely, I don't want to say grappling, but he does have good takedown defense. But I think against a pure wrestler like Cain, one of the better wrestlers in the heavyweight division, will be interested to see how his takedown defense does fare in this fight. And I also do want to say is that his ground game, it'll be interesting to see how his jits matches against Cain Velasquez's wrestling. And also, lastly, his cardio. Nobody can match Cain Velasquez's cardio, and if this does get into later rounds, Junior will be in a lot of trouble because Cain could fight for 5 rounds and be fresh. And it'll be interesting to see where his cardio stands in this fight. And where I see Junior Dos Santos being successful in this fight, there's no mystery to this. He needs to keep it standing, needs to keep it off of the ground, keep his distance, and pick his spots. He can't, he has to keep his distance. I think he's got to land the heavy strikes. He can't just go and pick apart Cain, because the more he closes the gap, the more of a chance Cain has to taking him down. So he's got to keep it standing. He's got to win this fight via TKO or knockout. That's how it has to be. He could submit Cain, but the odds are slim to none on that. Keep it standing in this fight. So Cain Velasquez is the top contender. There's no questions asked in regards to that. Cain's performance against Bigfoot Silva may not be against a top 5 heavyweight, but he absolutely dominated the guy from bell to bell. There's no saying that. There's no doubt that Cain Velasquez is the top guy. So Cain Velasquez's skill set, he is a very good stand-up striker. He does have a wrestling background, but training at AKA has made his hands come a long way. However, what I think is most impressive about his step, obviously his speed, his athleticism. He does have good pop in his step. He uses his kicks very well. He can dirty box in the clinch as well. And he knows how to pop forward in the pocket as well. He throws a lot of combinations together when he does get inside the pocket. And his stand-up has come a long way. Like most wrestlers, I mean, some wrestlers don't grasp the concept of striking. Well, Cain Velasquez very well does, but his striking in this fight does not match Junior Dos Santos's. However, I think the biggest part of Cain Velasquez's advantage in this fight is that he's gotten back to his roots. I know it's only one fight, but in the Bigfoot Silva fight, he went back to his roots. He didn't even try and stand with Bigfoot Silva. He took it right down to the ground where his comfort zone is, and he literally beat down a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on the ground very easily, advancing guard, beating him down, winning the fight on the ground via TKO. It was an absolute domination. So I think in regards to his wrestling, Cain Velasquez has wrestled at Arizona State, wrestled with some outstanding wrestlers like Dalloway and Bader, and a very impressive college resume and record in collegiate wrestling. And Cain, if he gets a hold of you, I mean, that's the thing. If he closes the gap with his striking, with his speed, if he gets a hold of you, he's going to single, he's going to double, he's going to get you in the clinch, he's going to sweep your leg. He does whatever is necessary to take you down. I mean, we saw in the Bigfoot Silva fight, he literally just pushed Bigfoot Silva down, swept the leg. It was that easy. And it was just in the blink of an eye. That's how explosive he is. And when he gets you down on the ground, if there's any guy who's better at wedging people down, advancing guard, and posturing up and beating people down in the heavyweight division, it is definitely Cain Velasquez. And he has very deceiving power. Cain Velasquez does have 9 knockouts on his resume. A lot of them, he has had some in the stand-up department. A lot of them have come via ground and pound. He is a very impressive fighter when it comes to ground and pound. That's really where he shines. It's a matter of how his wrestling matches against Junior Dos Santos' Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And obviously, Cain Velasquez is a brown belt in guerrilla Jiu-Jitsu. And he does have, I want to say, good submission defense, but he's really never been in that position where he's been fighting off his back. He's got good takedown defense. He's solid against Brock Lesnar. He pops right back up. So that's what I've regards to Cain Velasquez. Some pros and cons. Pros is he's definitely the better wrestler in this fight. I mean, he is the only wrestler in this fight. His cardio is a huge advantage. Also, the pace that he pushes in the stand-up department. Nobody pushes the pace like Cain Velasquez. That'll be a huge factor in this fight, is if he could get in Junior's face and not let Junior get comfortable. He dictates where the fight takes place, and he puts people out of their comfort zone. So his cardio, the pace that he pushes, and also is that he's very hungry. I think that's a big factor for Cain Velasquez. He's very hungry right now. I think that's going to play a big factor. Cons for Cain Velasquez is definitely his stand-up. He's not the better stand-up striker. And also is that JDS does have his number. JDS did beat him before. He does have something to prove, but JDS does know how to beat Cain Velasquez. So there is no myth to it. He knows how to beat Cain. So where I see Cain being successful in the fight, I mean, Cain could try and keep it staying, but I think it's going to end the way the first fight did. He has to get in Junior's face. He cannot let Junior sit outside the pocket. Obviously, Junior's going to throw volume strikes at him, not let him get close enough to him, but Cain's got to eat the strikes. He's got to get a hold of Junior. He's got to press this fight against Cage, get it down to the ground, and try and finish this fight via knockout. I don't see him submitting Junior Dos Santos, but he's got to get this down to the ground. He's got to bring it down to his world and beat down Junior. He's got to get home, got to get him down to the ground. That's the biggest factor in this fight. And he's not going to submit him. It's going to be TKO or knockout if he gets Junior down to the ground. So where my prediction lies in this fight is that I think it's going to be different. It's not going to be a spitting image of the last fight. I think Cain is going to be relentless with his takedowns. He's going to try and press the pace, get inside Junior Dos Santos' face. I also see Junior Dos Santos throwing a lot of volume, a lot of strikes at Cain, but he's got to keep his distance. If Cain does try and shoot, Junior's got to use his uppercut. He's got to use his knees. He's got to keep Cain Velasquez away from him, and he's got to pick the shot. I do not see this fight ending in the first round. It very well could, but I think Cain's going to get Junior down in this fight, and that's saying something, but I think Cain will get a hold of Junior and be one of the first guys to take him down and at least work him on the ground and work in some strikes. However, how I see this fight panning out is that, you know, I'm a big fan of both fighters, and I think Cain very well this time around could defeat Junior Dos Santos. But I'm going to go with Junior Dos Santos. I'm going to go with the favor in this fight. I think Junior Dos Santos is going to find his spot. Doesn't matter if it goes into later rounds. It could be a big question, but I see Junior winning this fight within the first 3 rounds. He's going to win this fight either via knockout or TKO. He's going to find his strike. He's going to connect with Cain Velasquez, and he's going to swarm when there's blood in the water, and he's going to finish this fight via knockout or TKO. So I'm going to say that Junior Dos Santos defeats Cain Velasquez in the highly anticipated rematch. It's going to be different this time around, but Junior will still be the heavyweight champion in the UFC. And that's what I have for this edition. It's Kyle Delaney signing off. I'm out of here.